Well, this is a really weird fucking video. It's really fucking cold out. I I kind of feel like I'm in here to be warm. It is very full of stuff, but I've also realized it's pretty decent audio quality, and somehow it felt fitting. I have a lot to talk about. It's all kind of packed away. I just kind of feel right being squirreled in here. Also, shout out to the little itty bitty mic. This thing's actually kind of fucking sick. I have plans, but I've been on hiatus, obviously, for the last 2 weeks. And the first week just felt like a normal week. Really, I just needed to process. The second week, however, was way different. I spent the whole week doing all kinds of shit. And I could say getting back in tune with myself, but I just spent each day beyond the first just thing after thing. And I felt so good. I realized, and this shouldn't have been a surprise, but I realized I'm the kind of person that I need to be doing stuff fully throughout the days, like my full effort, and then I get to the end of the day and I can truly rest, or I get to a point where I'm napping or whatever. And if I don't, then I'm antsy and I don't actually get any real rest. But that ran me into other things as well. That ran me into trauma. I've talked about it a lot in different ways, but this one was different. And this one had kind of been haunting me for a minute. I was going to make this 2 separate videos, maybe even 3. A little I'm back video, a video on, like where I'm at as a creative and like my path getting here. And then a video on being agender, which is something I mention often, but I don't think I've ever really talked about because I'm not sure how much I've thought about it myself. But I think I should. It's hard to talk about something that you personally have never experienced, or really have only experienced as an absence. And mostly everyone else you're going to be talking to has never gone a day without. But I'm going to try. Because I know if I found a video like this, it would have been really important to me. If I ever do find a video like this, it might still be really important to me, despite having already figured out all of this. But my clinical understanding of gender is it's like a box. You get a box, you fill it with stuff, and all that stuff, some of it is male, some of it's female, some of it's haunted house. Whatever majority comes out, that's generally what you simplify your gender to, right? So, I'm a man, or I'm a woman, or I'm a haunted house, or I'm a whatever, right? So mostly male stuff, you're probably going to say that you're a man. Mostly woman stuff, you're probably going to say you're a woman. And obviously, in this, there's a whole spectrum in between of, it's changing all the time, gender fluid, it changes slowly over time. There's, of course, trans, and then non-binary, which could be a mix, full haunted house, empty box. The thing is, I don't have a box even to be empty. It's really easy for people to think of agender as similar to non-binary. And as somebody with a non-binary partner, I can tell you it's different. And I could probably say that without having a non-binary partner, but the thing is with gender, see the world that way, see yourself that way, see it as a part of something bigger. Like I am a man. I am man. I am woman. I am haunted house. It's a category. The problem with categories, it's not you specifically. It's a step removed. And it's a thing that I don't have. I don't interact with the world a step removed from anything. You show me two toy robots. One's red, one's blue. Exactly the same otherwise. I first say, there's this robot, and it is blue, and there's this robot that's red. I'll not assume anything between the two. But once I know them, I'll put them together in similar categories. Nothing being different but color. Rather than just, they are toy robots. You know, somebody is not a Sonic fan, they are a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. There's a specific trait about them in particular. See, the way that I view the world and myself, it's just the people. And so when gender comes up, when things of gender come up, in any category, and I see or interact with somebody participating in their gender, which is not a bad thing. I want this to be clear. That is not a bad thing. But when that happens in conversation, I just feel like I'm not participating in anything anymore. I always used to dive in for deeper conversations because I could actually get to the person, even if it's just for a little bit, because there was no connecting otherwise. There was no gender to connect to or to relate to. You know, even if you have an empty box, there's a lot you hold in common with somebody with a full box of whatever else the fuck. You're still holding that box. Your hands are full. You have things to compare to. You can imagine what it would be like. While I do have this logical, clinical understanding of gender, it's never been something that is naturally on my mind. I have had this old friend. She realized she was trans, and the more we talked, the more I realized that her entire life revolved around gender. And I think one of the reasons we connected initially was that she didn't want to interact with her gender because she didn't realize she was trans. So it all felt wrong, and we were happy to talk like that. And again, it's not a bad thing. I'm happy for her, and I'm glad. But that gender is not something that I can interact with. It's not something that I can connect to. We drifted for other reasons, but it still left me with that same lack of participation, is the best way I can describe it. Like I'm talking to somebody or to a group, and then all of a sudden, basically just stops. I might as well not be there. I've had that feeling. I've followed that feeling to just leave. And the saddest part about it is that when I do so, I don't regret it. See, I want to feel bad when I just leave a conversation like that. I want to feel like I did something wrong or that there was something for me there, because the alternative, it's just fucking lonely. And it's boring. And it's like everywhere that I turn, 90% chance, especially if I don't know the person, that the conversation will just immediately jump to a non-conversation where I'm skimming about 10% of the real person from what they're talking about, and then the other 90% is just gender or something else that they relate to, that they group themselves into. It's a natural thing for humans to do. God, it just fucking sucks for me, though. And like, I don't want this to be just me bitching, you know? And I don't think I'm bitter about it. Like, I've never seen somebody do that and been like, man, could you stop doing that? In fact, it's delightful seeing people interact with and participate in things of their gender, in the things that they relate to. But I just can't do that. So when my family told me growing up, that it would be good for me to give up who I am to be whatever under the foot of religion. I kind of agreed. There's a lot more that goes into it, but I recently remembered that there was a specific moment. I realized I could force myself to do things, and that made the connection I could force myself to be someone else. So I thought, why not be perfect for this religion that's so important for my family? That caused a myriad of other problems. Of course, you can't just be perfect, but that's what I tried to do aggressively for a long time. And so when I make content, I told you this was all related. When I make content, I've avoided just being me a lot. I felt like I am not participating in my own streams. This video is one of the first ones that, well, I mean, I guess one of the pepperings that I'm really participating in. Because I've gotten so used to just, I guess, faking gender. I guess that is a way to describe it. I've gotten used to faking gender. I've gotten used to speaking about a game I don't participate in, that I have no stakes in. And just trying to present that 10% for that people feel comfortable skimming. And I know that this isn't what people want. And I don't mean that in a way of like the sometimes feeding nature of an audience to a creator. I mean, legitimately caring. I know the people that watch myself that are gonna see this, the few of you that there are right now, are genuinely caring and have only ever wanted me to be entirely myself. But I haven't known how to do this. I'm still very fucking bad at this, at this being me thing. At not trying to connect to people. Faking gender. Like faking it enough to get through so that I can actually see somebody. I once described that getting to know me felt like falling into a pit. Or just falling in general. Not to be bleak, but to describe the feeling of it just getting to the core of things. And that, obviously you can probably tell, is because I had nothing else to truly connect to people with, except those deepest bits. And I can tell you, so few people actually want to do that. I think the internet's different. And that might be why I'm drawn to creating. And I'll probably circle around to that. But either people would take it as the end point, when I felt like we had just gotten started on a conversation, or they realize they don't want that at all and walk away. Real fucking lonely. And I tell you this not to complain, but more to connect to anybody that's felt the same, right? I think it's important for us to talk about our experiences, no matter the following you have, but it's important to have a buzz. That when somebody goes looking for agender experiences, that there are people talking about them. When somebody goes looking for trans experiences, cis experiences, though there's plenty of buzz about cis experiences. All of these experiences have added up to a feeling of not talking, of not expressing. I realized kind of suddenly recently that it wasn't just toxic religion. It wasn't just my family that had been building up that response to not speak. Because what I learned being agender was that people didn't want to hear me talk. They didn't want to hear what I had to say to them in particular. They didn't want to dive into that level. They didn't want to get outside of their gender or their norms or the stuff that they only ever really connect to people on. And I, again, don't blame anybody for that. But I share it to give perspective on who I am as a creator and what I'm going to be doing moving forward and where I'm at. I think part of it is an apologetic explanation because so many people have given so much energy and positivity to me through Twitch and, I mean, a little bit on YouTube, but that have not had those wishes fulfilled. Been doing this for 3 years. There's been a lot of ups and downs. And I only really feel like I just started being able to put in decided effort. To actually have a vision for videos, streams, having any goals of any kind. Because just opening my mouth took so much effort. I feel some guilt for quote unquote pulling people in for an experience that then fizzled over time. I hope that those people can come back and find value in this, but I just understand it has been disappointing. And I know I should not be guilty. And if you're experiencing this, don't feel guilty about it. Do you? It's better that you make art of any kind at any frequency. But the mind isn't always logical, is it? And so I still do feel guilty about it. And it's amplified by my own frustration that I could have been doing so much more and that I can be. And I'm fighting against all of these old, time-honored, shitty lessons and baggage to produce things and to make more. I feel it every second that I'm talking about this stuff. And now that I finally have gotten here, I want to say thank you, especially to everyone here right now, but to everyone that has been on my Twitch, that has been around, especially if you have been around for a very long time. If you have been with me for these 3 years, that's kind of insane, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. Moving forward, I'm going to just make stuff like this. I'm gonna make clips eventually. I swear to fucking God, I'm gonna make clips. Probably a lot more talking head videos with this, and I'm just gonna come in here and make a video sometimes. You know, I'm just gonna talk about history or these 100,000-year-old spears that Mini Minutemen pointed out in a short that I want to look in more into, or like the giant fucking communal web in Greeks, like lots of things, and taking my streams with more intent. But it's going to be weird. And it's going to be sporadic because I am recovering from the years of ice I have layered over myself. Being agender. And finding that voice. And it's going to be inconsistent. And this is the point I couldn't script out. I mean, none of this is really scripted. I outlined and wrote things for all of this. I got the ideas down. But I couldn't even find the words to begin this next sentiment. But I think, from the bottom of my heart, what I'm excited to give, what people have been looking for a very long time, what's going to make the biggest difference, is that I'm finally going to be making content as the agender person I am. The value in art often relies on its honesty from the artist. I think that is especially true for the content I make. The best clips, streams, everything that I've made comes from that place. And I am so aware of the value it creates. And I am so aware of the time it has taken to get here. I am just. I'm finally here. Those are the words. I'm here now. And I thought I was here. I will maybe have other realizations like this. Lessons are rarely learned once. And I am sorry for taking so long, even though I got here as fast as I could. Even though I have put all that I have into climbing this mountain. I hate that it was such a tough fucking climb. My operative emotion being a creator is gratitude. I don't think there's anything wrong with any other operative emotion, whether it be ambition or excitement or joy or sadness, any whatever. But mine is gratitude. And that is so palpable to me. It is so thick in the air. Imagine for a moment as we close this out. Imagine it's cold and dark. You have everything that people need. A town far away, medicine, oil, and you have it to give. You and your people don't need it. So you leave and you hit bump after bump. Sled breaks, things freeze. You have to get more food for the dogs. Some of it falls out. The whole time, you know how much it's going to matter to the people you're about to see. They don't know it's coming, but every time you have a delay, whether it's for 5 minutes or 5 hours, God, it fucking sucks. Then you finally get there, days later than it should have been. And you don't want to ask what's happened in that time, wondering if you could have gotten there, even though you full well know you've done everything you can to get there as fast as possible. That is how I feel right now. And I am so sorry. Even though I know it's dumb. Even though I know my actions have only benefited. I've done everything that I can. I am so grateful to be here, and I am so sorry it's taken me this long. My name is Regolith, And I guess we're going to be writing this out for a while together. I'll see you guys around.